And I like to take this particular module at the very beginning of any virtual assistant training because I personally believe that um, there are certain traits and skills, soft skills, leadership skills, personal development decisions that virtual assistants who are successful consistently take. But in recent time, over the last 3 years, I think the trend has focused more on just your hard skills, like your expertise. But it takes much more than that to really be successful and to grow a profitable and successful virtual assistant business. And so today, this is what we're going to be talking about. I believe that this group already has basic knowledge who a virtual assistant is, what they do, and all of that. But today we're going to talk about enhancing your abilities and your expertise as a virtual assistant so that you can position for success. I hope that this will be an interactive class. I'd like to read your chats, your comments as we talk and as we discuss. Ask your questions, and let us generally have a good time. Okay. So I have broken down the things I'm going to speak about into different sections. And these first sections, we're going to talk about this first section, we're going to talk about communication skills. Now, your communication skills are extremely important in any area of your life, in your relationships, in your business, even people who are in 9 to 5, right? But more important for a virtual assistant because more often than not, your client, your proposed client, right, your prospect is unable to directly read um, your your body language. So you want to ensure that whatever communication is coming out is what you want to say, not what they there has to be a correlation between what they perceive that you're saying, and what you're actually saying. So you cannot leave rooms for errors because sometimes people run with what they know, what they hear, or what they seem to have understood. You want to be very sure that they understood the right things, and that is why your communication skills are important. And your communication begins from the very point where they come in contact with you. This is where they are saying hi. Or they're sending you emails or messages, or they responded to a post that you put out. That for them to be able to respond to whatever it is that you have put out, they have to have understood what it was that you said. Okay, so that is why your communication skills are super important. So let's talk about a few things that I want you to talk about during your communication skills. Number one is that you have to able to listen actively. Active listening. A lot of times people listen, you know, people listen, they don't listen to respond. They don't listen to what that person has said so that they can properly give the correct response. And that's always a problem. And so when you're beginning to have issues like that, you'll not be able to thoroughly provide the solutions that your clients need. And so you might be able to secure that first client. But what makes for virtual assistant business growth is your ability to retain those clients, your ability to retain them and to get referrals from them. So you want to ensure that you're actively listening. Number one, pay attention, give the speaker your full attention, avoid distractions, and focus on their words, their tones, and their body language. And in these days, when people tend to get on Zoom calls a lot, we tend to just feel like I can get on a Zoom call and put off my video and just go along with life and all of that. At the end of the day, you'll find that you've missed quite a few pertinent information that would have really helped you. So you want to ensure that when you have your calls, when you're getting on your meetings, you are focused on that client. Ensure that your background is as silent as it can possibly be. I mean, a lot of people have been working remotely since COVID. So we've had 4 years for kids to get used um, to remote work. So they should be used to, there's a meeting going on, mom is in a meeting right now, she needs 5 minutes, right? So you want to ensure that you avoid distractions so that you can focus on their words, their tones, and their body language. Because sometimes there are things that they are saying without really saying it in words. If you are not paying attention, you will miss it. Number two, ask questions. Clarify what the speaker is saying and demonstrate your understanding by asking open-ended questions. And there is this one thing that Ms. Bisola Lunge said to me. She said, assumption makes an ass of you and I. I will never forget because it stopped me in my tracks and I was like, that's the truth. Why would I have to assume this is what she meant? If I did not understand, it is wiser for me to, at that point, clarify what it is that she had said, what it is she said her needs are, what she has asked you to do, what the task is, because it just shows that you are listening, right? It doesn't, I don't know why people feel like if I'm asking for clarification, it makes me look stupid. It doesn't. It just shows that you're listening and she needs to explain a little more. So always ask questions, reiterate whatever it is they have told you, right, back to them. So they're able to say, oh, no, that's not what I said. Oh, yes, that's what I meant. But, and in the process, you get more information. Are we still together? Because comment section is so quiet. Okay, then you paraphrase, you already said that. Repeat back to them what you have heard to show that you listen and then verify your understanding. Under active listening, we're also talking about avoiding interruptions. Let the speaker finish their thoughts before responding. Don't interrupt, don't cut them off, right? So, whatever it is that you have to say, sometimes somebody is saying something and you have the urge to cut them in, maybe to defend yourself or to respond. At that point in time, cutting them off does not really work well. It doesn't work in your favor in the sense that it also, if there are conflicts, for instance, it will just make things worse. Here's what I do. Every time I get on a call with anybody, I have a notepad and a pen with me, and I'm jotting pertinent notes. In those notes, I'm saying, this is the question I want to ask. This is what I have deduced, right? So that when that person has finished, I can now address a particular thing that they said. I have been on calls before, and um, the client and the team members. I was just also a team member offering the tech support in that particular team. And the team member, the client was speaking, and the team member kept, how would I put it now? Defending herself without allowing the other person. She snapped. She was like, please let me finish. Let me finish what I have to say. Now, in a situation like that, especially when there is conflict, it becomes doubly difficult to amicably resolve such conflict. So make sure that no matter how angry you are, no matter how sad, no matter how hurt, no matter how eager, no matter how nervous, no matter what kind of emotions you have at that point in time, allow the speaker to finish their thoughts before responding and avoid interrupting them. Okay, and then also focus on the message. Rather than get caught up in personal reactions, focus on the content of the message and the speaker's intent, not necessarily the delivery. Because the delivery is sometimes controlled by other factors that are not necessarily correct. For instance, if she's experiencing PMS at that time, it means she's generally at that point in time somebody who everybody around her is really afraid of. I don't know if there are women on the call, right? So the way she's going to speak during that time doesn't mean that that is how she necessarily feels. So instead of saying the way she spoke to me, I didn't like it. She was so bitchy. She was so forget about the personal information, the personal reaction and all of that, and pick the content. Now, am I asking you to accept disrespect? No. But this is where emotional intelligence comes to play, especially for virtual assistants, because you're able to instantly tell what to react to. So if you are emotionally intelligent, you will know when to react to bad behavior or a certain kind of behavior, because you're able to tell that this disrespect. Okay, you're able to tell when the person is actually being disrespectful, or the person just has, is just delivering it in a way, in a certain way on that day that seems to be annoying. Okay, so that's that for active listening. Under communications, we have effective verbal and written communication rather, and this is super important because you will be sending more emails than you will be making phone calls. So you want to ensure that you have um, you have skills when it comes to um, effective and verbal communication. So let's just go into clarity. You have to be able to write in a clear, concise, easy to understand manner. Avoid technical jargon and ambiguity. I mean, you are the expert, right? Your client is hiring you because she's not the expert in that field. So she might know some of your terminologies, doesn't mean that she knows all. Okay, so when you're communicating, you want to make sure that you have communicated, use layman's language as much as possible to drive home whatever it is that you want to say, right? You also have to clearly define the purpose of your message and stick to it through the writing. So why are you writing this person? Are you sending this person a cold email? um are you following up on a discovery goal that you guys had? Are you trying to give feedback, right, on a job that you did for her? Are you requesting for certain information? Make sure that your purpose is clearly defined and it can be read from your message. And this starts with the what's it called now, with the topic, the subject of your email. So many times, as a business owner myself, there are some emails that I don't even open until the third day. Why? Because I cannot necessarily say if it is an urgent email or not. And I have my schedule so packed and so tightly scheduled, like my calendar is so tightly scheduled that I actually check my emails on a schedule. Like I check my emails every 1 hour. So I'm not about to go check my emails, when I don't need to. So when I'm going to check my emails, I'm focused on checking the emails that need to be attended to. And how do I know? The first point of call is from the subject. Apart from that, you're adding attachments to a particular email, but then your attachment, the email is about maybe your admin services, for instance, and then your attachment has the original name that came from Canva, maybe like a copy of something, one, two, three. What you have done essentially is made it super difficult for your client to be able to relate the attachment when she downloads it with what you sent it for. So these are little things that just set you up, that shows that you're a professional and know what you're doing. Number three, you have to consider your audience. Who is the person that you're sending this to, right? So you can be sending cold emails, sending it to the right audience, but the way that you're saying it is not hitting home because you haven't taken this audience into consideration while putting together your email brief. You also want to look at your tone, make sure that it's appropriate for your client. Why are you saying hi, whatever? This person is not your friend, she's not your friend, she's your client, and you do not know if she's married or unmarried, divorced or widowed. So you want to always err on the side of caution. You cannot use Mrs. What if she's Miss? What if she's not married? You cannot use Miss. What if she's married or she's divorced? So there is a certain way that you address any woman, which is the Miss MS dot, and that um, applies to married, singles, divorced, any kind of woman. It's just, that's like a respectful term for them. And always use ma'am. It doesn't remove anything from you, but it helps you to stay on the safe side because you are not friends with this particular person that you're speaking to. So many times that someone has sent emails, I have suggested or recommended rather a couple of years, and then they send an email to the clients that I asked them to send, and it's just good morning, this, and the email is just so. I'm like, why are you taking such a tone with this person? This is a proposed business relationship. You have to treat it as such and you have to speak as such. You cannot start your email in a semi-formal manner, right? You wait until he or she takes the, changes the tone of your voice. Still, no matter how friendly people are, this person is not your friend. So the tone of your voice, the tone of your communication, your email has to, show some respect, show that you know the proper way to address people that you're not familiar with. There is also something called being on first name terms with some people. So if she hasn't asked you to call her by her first name, you shouldn't be calling anybody by their first name, right? You call them, use a title and their last name until they tell you otherwise. You also have to think about your grammar and your spelling. Ensure that your writing is free of grammar and spelling errors. Proofread carefully before sending. Grammarly exists for a reason. So does ChatGPT. You can literally write whatever it is you need to write, copy it and paste in ChatGPT and ask it to edit. And it will edit it, add all the punctuations, change all of your grammar, put it together for you, and it will still sound like you. So there really is no excuse anymore for improper grammar. Okay, I already addressed personalization, the recipient's name and proper address to add personal touch to your message. Okay, email etiquette. Are we still together? I seem to just be going on the road. Okay, let's see. Are we still together? Is anybody still listening to me? Or am I call? Okay.
We are.
Thank you. Email etiquette. So let's talk about professionalism. Write your emails in a professional manner. I already mentioned that. Be clear, concise, easy to understand. Make sure you use a subject line that is clear, descriptive subject line that accurately reflects the content of the email. And then your salutation has to be correct, okay? I think I already covered that. Attachments, okay, so I already did that ahead. Response time, respond to emails promptly, especially if they require immediate attention, or you can have an autoresponder on if you think it take a while. So if you don't like to respond to emails over the weekend, have an out of office autoresponder on. And people love boundaries. Let me tell you that quickly. If you do not put boundaries in place, they will trample all over you. But if you put boundaries in place, they will respect your boundaries. So if they know, they've come to know that you aren't available over the weekend to respond to the emails, even if they send you an email over the weekend, they know that they will not get any response from you until Monday, and they will be happy to wait. Except in an emergency. And if it is an emergency, they will definitely have an alternative to reach out to you. Okay, so make sure that you put all of these boundaries in place. Also, confidentiality. Respect the privacy and confidentiality of the information that are contained in the emails, and only share it with people who need to know. Because you saw something in an email and you're wondering, oh wow, and then you now call your friend, come and see this email. Nah, not good. I was recently in a similar situation. I design apps for a living now. And what happened was I had this client who was saying they wanted to see a particular app that I built for one of my coaches. And I said, okay, but then I remembered that that app was not a public application. That mobile app is not a public one. It was custom designed for her particular course. She had a course and we custom designed that app for it. And I remember signing a non-disclosure agreement. So I had to tell that client, I'm sorry, I wish that I could give you access to this application, but I signed a non-disclosure agreement when I designed this, number one. Number two, this application is exclusively for people who signed up for this course, so I can't give you access to it. Now, it looked like it was a disappointment on my part because it was a fantastic, it was a job well done, if I may say so myself. And this was, if they have access to it, it will increase their chances of working with me, right? But wrong, you know what? If I had said, okay, let me just give you back and access, do you know what would happen? Why the somewhere at the back of their mind they'll be thinking, will this lady take whatever it is we call private, confidential? Will she really trust that it is confidential, right? If somebody begs her hard enough, will she give them access? things like that. So you have to get to the point that your clients are able to say, I trust this person to protect my confidential, my privacy and all of the information that you have access to. Because when you start to set things up for your clients, you have access. If you're a social media manager, for instance, you have access to the back end, you have access to her messages. If you are an admin person, for instance, you have access to her emails and all of the correspondence that happens in there. If you maybe set up ads and all of that, you have access to income. You are able to say, this is how much this woman made from this launch, right? So all of these things, you need to be able to, let your clients be confident in your ability to keep their and respect their privacy. Okay. So this is one of the my favorite things to talk about, which is conflict resolution. And it is because every day I see VAs and their clients break up for inconsequential reason. And the part is that I'm like, what is wrong with the both of you? Why do you not know how to resolve conflict? Because sometimes not all conflicts, would lead to the end of your relationship. So you want to make sure that you get conflict resolution skills, because when you're working with clients as a VA, you definitely have there'll be times when you butt heads over specific things, and the way that you manage your conflict will determine how successful that you are. Because if you fight with every client you get, your business will become a revolving door. I remember one of my favorite clients to date. She was with me for a very long time, and we really, really had fun working together. And she was super generous. She sent me gifts for my birthday and for Christmas every year while we worked together. But I remember something that happened at our 2 year mark. Um, I was managing social media pages for her. So she had this lovely photo shoot done for her buyers, and or somebody was stealing the pictures. So I said to her, oh, somebody's stealing your pictures from IGO and she's reposting it as hers. What do we do? So I said, okay, now I think we should just watermark this and let's put your logo in the, right in the midst of the pictures. And she said, okay. Well, what app do I have to put logos now? I only know how to use Canva. But what happened was every time I posted, she'll call me with her lovely northern accent. Hi, Banke, I don't know what's going on. We want to put on my page, but I just don't like it. The pictures blurry. What did you do? I'll be like, is it Canva? Is it Canva that made pictures? Because she paid heavily to have those high resolution images. So I was like, okay, so if it is Canva, if I'm downloading as PNG on Canva, that is reducing the resolution, I started to download as PDF. And then I'll download as PDF and then go convert it to JPEG or PNG. And it was still the same thing. And you know what? It got to a point that anytime I posted, I'll not start watching my phone. Because for sure, within 5 minutes, she sent me a message that post, please take it down. The picture's too blurry. I don't like it. And it started to cause what? Conflicts. At that point in time, I sat down and I was like, how do we resolve this? And I started to think to myself, what's going on here? Why is this? I had gotten to the point that I was so tired of the consistent complaints. I couldn't see the resolution that was reduced. But, she's the one who got the pictures. So she knows what the pictures, the difference between the pictures, the original and the one that we put on IG. So this particular day, I requested for a meeting and I got on the meeting. I got on the call and I said to her that that I really, really appreciated her business, and that I really felt bad that people were stealing her stuff. And I feel worse now that she's also unhappy with the job that I've been doing. So it's not my caption, it's not everything, it's just the pictures. And I feel like it's beginning to, cause some kind of rancor that I didn't think was good, but that this, I only did what I did. I suggested because I wanted to help her out. It was not my core duty. Remember that. My duty, what she paid me for, was for social media management. So what I was doing was supposed to be an extra that was supposed to help my clients. But it now became, the bane of my existence. So I said to her, "Ma'am, I think that we should stop with what we are currently doing, where watermarking the pictures are concerned. That what I suggest is that she should go back to the guy who took the pictures and send him the logo and ask him to please do that. He's in the best position to watermark." And she said, "Oh, why didn't I think of that before? That's so easy. That's easier." And then we got off it and we forgot about it and we moved on and we worked for another 2 years together before I made the pivot from social media. And here's how you resolve conflict. Sometimes you have to identify what the problem is, but as the VA, you also have to consider and come up with an alternative solution, right? A solution and give your client options so that they have something to opt out, or to choose. And in situations like that, I could have easily gotten so angry with the consistent annoyance that I would have even forgotten that what she was angry about was not my core duty. It was extra jara that I had no business doing. Do you get that? But when you stay back and you listen to your client's perspective, acknowledge their feelings and concerns without judgment, it helps you to identify the root cause. Do you get? You don't judge them. You're not saying, why is she not grateful? Maybe I'm helping her to watermark this thing, I'll be able to want this on. Do you get what I mean? I didn't do that. What I did was to step back from the situation, try not to take her reaction personal, because I understood where she was coming from to some level. Didn't mean that I was happy with what was going on, but I didn't take it personally. And then I identified what the root cause was, found the common ground, we communicated about it, brainstormed our options, and we moved on and worked for another 2 years. However, there is another story that I have for you. I connected a virtual assistant with a client. And the next time I saw the client, I was like, "How's your view?" She said, "No, they're no longer working together." I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "Well, that her graphic design, the way she creates Canva design is not super good." I said, "As in, is that all?" She said, "Yes, but that she was good, she was on time, she had structures, she had systems, her communication was perfect, everything was good. It was just that Canva design." And that she felt like she, as the client, she could create better Canva designs. I was looking at her. I was like, "So you let a perfectly good VA go because of Canva design?" She said, "Yes." So I asked the lady, "What happened?" She said, "Well, she was consistently complaining about her Canva design." I said, "What did you do about it?" He said, "Well, I tried to do better." Both of you are not serious, but as a VA, you're the one I'm going to talk to. What would it have cost you to liaise with a VA like yourself who is into graphic design and look for a way to pay that VA to give you fantastic Canva designs? Why didn't you think of going to creative market to buy social media, Instagram templates, pre-designed templates, lovely ones? Why didn't you use the premium image links that I gave you to get premium images, add them to your template, and all you need to do is change the text and change the colors, and you have lovely pre-designed. That would have saved you, a lot of headache and would have helped you to retain your clients. Okay, so that's conflict resolution that she missed. Don't let me talk about the client. Let's talk about the VA here. She could have done better. She could have either liaised with somebody who knew how to create beautiful Canva graphics for just a percentage of the amount the woman was paying her until she got better. Or she could have bought Canva templates, pre-designed templates, lovely ones on Creative Market and kept her clients. So you have to be able to find what the root cause is and then creatively look for solutions so that you're able to retain your clients. And if it becomes inevitable that you have to let that client go, right, then you let them go, but you know that you have tried your best. So you have to learn the art of conflict resolution. Number one, it starts with listening actively to your identify what the cause of the conflict is. Take your emotions out of it. Number three, focus on a common ground. What do you people really want to achieve? What is common to you? What is common to her? And communicate openly. Make sure that your communication is open. No blames, no accusations. Just talk about what the problem is and also create a list of potential solutions and allow all of you choose together. You cannot also be flexible. You have to be flexible and open to new ideas. Sometimes it means that you may need to pick. Sometimes it means you have to just extra to your existing what's it called? Your existing package or have. Okay, let's continue. And then follow up after the conflict has been resolved to make sure that what you agreed upon is being implemented, especially if the implementation is required on the part of the client. So the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. You have to be able to hear what has not been said. That's the most important thing in communication, and it's a skill that everybody has to learn. The second section is time management. Before I go there, let's anybody has a question for me, any feedback before I proceed. This is a chat section. Okay, no questions. Can I proceed? All right. So time management. Let's talk time management, shall we? This is one of the most this topic is something that's super important because if you do not know how to manage your time as a virtual assistant, you'll find yourself running from pillar to post, trying to do everything that you can to meet up and still falling short. And so let's talk about time management. Number one, you have to be able to prioritize. You will have a list of 100 things that you need to do. Your ability to prioritize will make all of the difference. Your ability to prioritize will be super important. So you want to identify your goals and your priorities, understand your primary responsibilities and goals, and align your tasks with these objectives. So if you're a social media manager, right, what are the tasks that you need to carry out as a social media? Those are your priorities. You also need to use a task management system. Use a tool such as a to-do list, calendar, or a project management software to keep track of your tasks and prioritize them. You also have to evaluate your deadlines. Determine which tasks have the tightest deadlines and prioritize those first. Also assess urgency and importance. Break your task into smaller manageable pieces. If a task is too big or too complex, break it down into smaller manageable steps to make it easier to prioritize and complete. So for instance, when I was managing social media pages, what I used to do was to break down my social media management tasks. So there is the task of content, putting together your content and your research, right? Then you have the task of creating your calendar. Then you have creating the what's it called now? Creating the graphics. So I did them on separate days. I did not do them together. And I always created my graphics by Saturday. So by Sunday, I would sit down and schedule all of the posts. At that time, we used to use Hootsuite, Planoly, whichever one did we use then? I used Hootsuite and Planoly, actually, just those the two I used for my clients. And I'll sit down and schedule all of my posts on them. So if I had not broken down the whole, task into smaller bits and I'm able to take part time, it would have been difficult for me to get my clients' jobs out, when it needed to go out. And I also found out that multitasking sometimes does more harm than good. When you have too many tabs open, it takes, how would I say it now? The back and forth, you're working on something, but then you quickly switch. It takes you a while to get into that thing. So what I started to do was to create batches of 1 hour. I'll create a batch of 1 hour and do something that is um, um, comprehensively for 1 hour at a stretch. In fact, I use a timer, and I'm going to show you my calendar today, so you see what it looks like, and it times me. So when I'm working on it, when I'm doing that, and that was how I was able to write my books. I was like, it's going to take me 3 hours to write one chapter. So I'm going to write one chapter a week. It meant that I had to put 1 hour, do you get, for 3 days, choose 3 days and write something for 1 hour. And I was able to meet up with the books that I wrote. So you want to do anything in particular, don't multitask, focus on a task, time yourself on that task, focus on it and do it, and get to a reasonable ending and leave it. And if you're the type who has decided to use a specific time, once that time is over, drop it and move to the next thing. If you're able to consistently do that, you will find that you're able to get more done and you will do it better. Why? Because you're focused on that one thing. And when I say focused, I mean you're focused so well that you're even removing distractions. Right now, my phone hasn't rung out in a while. It doesn't ring out. What's it called? Um, WhatsApp notification doesn't show up on my phone. The one that shows up on my laptop is the one for work. So when I say I'm focused, I'm focused. When I'm now done and the timer has gone off, then I can pick up my phone and take a 5 to 10 minute break. And it works all the time. But if you do not create a system like that, you will find that you will only show up for your clients consistently. You will never show up for yourself. I learned that the hard way. I was consistently marketing for my clients. Their social media was on point, but I had not posted in months. And you will ask me, why would I not do that? That was the point through which these clients came. I have to consistently find a way to ensure that my social media too goes up. So as a virtual assistant, whatever task it is you're doing for your clients, you're not doing it for them alone, you're also doing it for yourself too. If you're unable to do it for yourself too, then you're missing out and you're losing on one end. So you need to be able to create a time. So before we do this, let me just share my screen. I want to show you my calendar and my calendar and my to-do list. I use both an electronic to-do list and a book to-do list. For the book, I just sit down and write out what I need to do that day based on what was carried over and then based on my schedule, and I keep to it. And it's always a happy feeling for me every time that I'm able to strike something out. Okay, so let me just see. So I'm sharing my screen in totality at this point. So you should be able to see this is my Google Calendar. If there's nothing that is serious that has to happen, if it is not on my calendar, it's not happening. It's not happening. It has to be on my calendar for it to actually. So for instance, let me just show you. So this is what my calendar looks like. I have pray for 5 minutes randomly. So every 5 minutes, randomly, my phone just goes off, pray for 5 minutes, and all that, and then just come back. 5:30 a.m. I have personal devotion. 9 a.m. day out with Banke. Here was a brunch, 9 a.m. brunch with my friend SDJ. And then I also tagged some client tasks here, which means I actually had to push this forward. Here I have 11 a.m. work on Chrysalis, 1 p.m. discovery calls. Now, 1 p.m. this discovery calls, it means that if you get to calendly.com to schedule a call, you will only be able to find a time frame within this 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Why? Because 3 p.m. my phone goes off, it's time for school runs. I have to go pick my youngest. By 4:30, we'll be back home, and I'm able to work on Annie with Marie, which is my EdTech startup that I'm working on. And so I work on it for another 1 hour before it's time to get up for dinner and family time. By 9 p.m., kids are in bed. I'm back here, client task 2, and I work on it for 1 hour. And I have 10 p.m. for education and personal development because I sign up for courses from time to time, masterminds, I'm working with a coach. I'm actually working on a MBA grade program right now. It's taking a lot of my time. So if I didn't schedule it here, I'll not be able to take my courses and my program. So it's scheduled here 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. I'm working on that. And then I have personal devotion for the night. So if it's important, it goes in here. Like you can see, everything is scheduled down to my kids, their reactions. As you can see, Sunday here we have family movie night. Without fail, it's scheduled into here. CEO day is scheduled in. So this is how I'm able to ensure that my time, is used properly. For my to-do list, I use Microsoft To Do. This is what my to-do list looks like, and I'm also able to share it with my executive assistant or share with anybody that I have. As you can see, I'm able to click, one link, put it down, and then once I'm done, I just click it off. And then I can also create subtasks. For instance, you can see this subtask here. This one says Virtual Boss Collective, which was a mentoring program I held. You can see that it's done. Virtual Boss Summit, this was last year. You can see that I've crossed it off as done, and all of that. So that's how I'm able to market. Did I just say market? That's how I'm able to control my time so that I'm able to do all of the things that I do, and still show up when I need to show up. How many minutes do I still have? Okay. Okay, so where's my slide again? All right, so goal setting, identify your purpose, clearly understand the purpose of your work, align it with your goals, set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, right? And then break down your goals into smaller, manageable. We already mentioned that. Create a plan of action. I already shared that with you. Stay focused, and then celebrate your success. Oh, this is so powerful. Every little thing that I'm able to successfully do, I celebrate it. Celebration sometimes just means acknowledging it. Oh, Banke, you did so well. Well done. Sometimes it's sharing it with my friends, and they say, "Oh, fantastic! That's so good. Well done." Just make sure that every time that you hit a milestone, or you successfully do something, or you successfully book a new client, make sure that you celebrate it. You also want to make sure that you're able to manage your deadlines. Always manage your deadlines. Always deliver when your clients expect you to deliver. And this is another trend that I'm seeing a lot of VAs do. I've seen clients come to me at the last minute and they're like, I can't reach my VA. I can't reach my VA. She's supposed to send me this. We are launching today. I can't reach her. By the time she gets through to her, it's days after, and she's with one excuse, and I didn't have light, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. And I'm wondering, do you not realize that somebody's business relies on you delivering your service, right? Why are you so unbothered about? She said, hey, would I kill myself? But here I am. I also hired a graphic artist and asked him to do a job for me. And he told me he couldn't make it anymore because they didn't have light, blah, blah, blah. He had given it to this other person that he's just letting me know. That's proactiveness. So why didn't you get back to the client? Why would you leave them hanging? So it happens all the time. And they're like, well, there was nothing I could do. I'll be like kill myself. I'm like, if it was your business, would you do the same thing? So you have to find a way to consistently manage your deadlines, meet your deadlines, and never leave your clients hanging. It's one of the most painful things that can happen. Stay organized. Keep all your deadlines and resources organized in one place, like your to-do list and your project management tool. And you should also have folders for your clients. If you're a social media manager, you already know what you need to get your job done. Do you expect your clients to send it to you via WhatsApp? Why would they do that? Or emails? That's stressful. Why don't you create a Google folder, right? And put a checklist in the folder. When I did that in 2020. I still use the same checklist in 2024. It's just for you to sit down at once and think about all of the ways you can make your own life easier. Imagine having to have mistakenly putting up a client's post, mixing up their product images because you're not organized. It's not nice.
Thanks.
You want to
That's
make sure
terrible.
that you're nice and you're able to share, receive the information that you need in an organized manner and share it in an organized manner. Okay. Also set realistic deadlines. It is better to to deliver before, how that there's a way they say it's over, is it over deliver or
If you
whatever.
don't say I'm share it.
There's a way for you must be able to find a way to consistently deliver. So if you need to take you 10 days, for instance, tell the client to take 2 weeks. So if you're able to do it in 10 days, it becomes a plus for you. So don't plan yourself too tightly. Allocate your time effectively. And finally, professionalism and ethics. Somebody is unmuted. Unmuted. Could you please mute? Okay, thank you. Number one, you have to be adaptable and flexible. Be open-minded, open to new ideas, approaches, way of thinking. This can help you to be more adaptable and flexible. Your clients are consistently looking for better ways to do their business, but you are stuck on this one way. The way you know how to manage customer care is for them to send you WhatsApp. But your client said, see, I have upgraded, I've moved to Zoho. You are willing to move to Zoho, so you lose a client. So be open-minded rather, and be flexible and adaptable. If this is the new way they are doing things in your industry, quickly learn and get on the bandwagon. You get that. You have to also develop strong communication skills. I don't want to overflow that. Be proactive, anticipate potential challenges or changes, and be proactive in finding solutions and alternatives. You have to also remain calm under pressure. The tendency is there for you to want to blow off. Of course, you're also having your own issues. You just fought with your husband, and then your client is saying something. You're more likely to, transfer aggression, right? So you want to learn the art of remaining calm. Excuse me, please. I'm so sorry. My eldest is cooking, and she has cooked it to the point where the food can no longer be cooked. I apologize for. Okay, so the next thing is continue to learn and to grow. Continuous learning and growing can help you develop new skills and be adaptable and flexible. And that's another aspect I want to layer on. A lot of people are just comfortable with where they are, but trust me, you need to consistently grow and you need to evolve. And you cannot continue to do things. I mean, the way we do things in the past is no longer how we do them. And we'll do them in a separate way, from in a few years from now. So if you refuse to learn and to grow, you'll soon get out of business. Okay. You also want to learn how to be a team player, because as a VA, sometimes you'll be a member of a particular team. So learn how to be a team player. Super important. Okay. Listen actively. We already said that. Be empathetic, show empathy towards your customer, put yourself in their shoes to understand their perspective, and it helps you sometimes. And it is someone who understands the perspective of their clients who will not leave them hanging, with tasks that they're expecting you to do. In the name of there's nothing I can do, I can't kill myself, right? So if you are empathetic, you will find ways to ensure that thing gets done. Be knowledgeable, stay informed about your company's product services, have a thorough understanding of the customer's needs and concerns. So you're managing social media pages, for instance, but the person you're managing social media page, you don't understand who their clients are. You don't even know what kind of business model they run, not to talk of how they need to generate leads, right? If you do not understand, then you will not be able to thoroughly offer the service that they will need. Okay, so you also have to make sure that your solutions, you have to offer solutions, practical solutions to your customers' concerns, and send and take proactive steps to resolve the issue. We already spoke about problem solving slash conflict resolution. I think that's about it. Yeah, so there was one part. Okay, continuously improve. We spoke about implement the solution, monitor results, and continuously improve on your skills. Evaluate your problem solving skills. This is arguably one of the most important skills that any virtual assistant must have if they are going to be um, successful. Yeah, so there are three questions I would like to ask you. Let's call it class tasks. Number one, how will you draw your client's attention to a limitation that you noticed while carrying out your service? Number two, what's the proper form of address for a client who you are not sure is married, single, divorced, or widowed? And what do you do with feedback that you receive from your clients? I want you to sit down and answer these questions, and they will highlight to you if you need to work on specific areas that you need to work on in your business and in your relationship with your clients so that you can get the best and grow and own a successful virtual assistant business. Thank you. I believe I was able to meet up with the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Banke. We are so grateful for that amazing session. I don't know if anyone has any question. If you have any question, can you kindly unmute and ask so she can shed more light on it?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Banke, for this insightful class that you have given us. So I wanted to ask that if I want to transition from an accounting role to an executive virtual assistant role, how do I go about it? Thank you very much. That's my question.
So with becoming a virtual assistant, one of the things you want to consider is the skill sets and your service offering. What would your service be? And there are three ways that I ask people to choose their services as virtual assistants. Number one, choose your service based on an existing skill set, something you've been doing or that you went to the university for. Number two is something that a natural talent, something that you have inborn or that you've gained, a skill that you have inborn or you gained from exposure. And number three is a skill that you go to learn. In your case, you're probably going to choose a skill that you learned in the university or something you've done before, which is accounting. In your case, I feel like there is a limit to what you can do accounting wise as a virtual assistant, in the sense that you have like professional bodies and there are specific regulations that may prevent you from may how that put a cap on the kind of services that you offer. But as an accountant, you can definitely become a virtual assistant who offers bookkeeping services to business owners. And trust me, this is a viable um, business in the sense that a lot of business owners need help with their bookkeeping, with taxation and all of that, and they cannot afford full-scale accountants. And they'll definitely go for somebody who can manage their books. So they have somebody who can be in charge of generating the invoices, the receipts, logging it in, making sure that everything is balanced and all of that. Absolutely. So I feel like that's what you should consider. So you need to now brand yourself, create a package for people who are looking for your kind of service, and create a social media page and start to promote yourself. But before you do that, you need to first and foremost be sure that this is what you want to do. One, two, you want to create a package and create like maybe a minimum of two offerings. Say, I would manage your bookkeeping, I will manage your books, rather do this for you for so amount of money. In order for you to do that, you have to take some research. So research all the other VAs that offer bookkeeping services. What are their price ranges? How much do they charge? Where do they find clients? All of those different things. When you're done with the research, put together a portfolio, put together your social media profile, and start to promote yourself. And there are clients who are looking for a specific type of skill. I hope that
All right.
helps you.
Thank you very much, Maya. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, thank you very much. Does any other person have any question to ask? Okay, in that case, I think she has done justice to it. Thank you so much, Mrs. Banke, for this session once again. We are really, really, really grateful. Thank you, ma.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, someone asked something. Someone said, how do you find VA jobs?
There are quite a number of places where you can find VA jobs. For me, I started to find VA jobs on social media, Instagram to be specific. I made sure my Instagram page was targeted at people who wanted to hire social media managers. Then I ran ads. I made sure I ran ads every month for 10 days. No matter how low my ad budget was, I was running ads because it is the ads that put you before people. And that was how I started. And then I started to get more clients, and those clients now started to bring me referrals. Then at a point in time, I moved to Facebook groups. I used Facebook groups the whole of COVID-19/2021. I was booked out from three strategically chosen Facebook groups. So I didn't choose random Facebook groups. I chose three groups because they had my ideal clients. And even though there were groups where we were not allowed to market, but I had content that was consistently giving value. And because my social media was already ready for them, every time I gave value, the traffic to my social media increased. And of course, people hired me and I got a lot of DMs. And there's a system to doing that I cannot really go into in detail here. But yes, you can literally use Facebook groups um, to get booked out. Another thing that you can do is you can also take jobs on marketplaces like Fiverr, Upwork, and the rest. Um, it's cheap, but who knows? You can try. I've never really tried. That's a trick. I've never tried. My profile on Upwork is incomplete because at the time that I wanted to create it, was it Fiverr or Upwork? I heard that there were a lot of ways. At that time, we Nigerians couldn't create accounts like we can now. So with all the hanky panky and the back, and I was like, no, I'm not putting my hand in all of those things. I'm not going to add that to my troubles. So I left it off, so I didn't do it. But I use social media a lot. Instagram was powerful for me. Facebook group was also super powerful for me. Then I started to also leverage my network. So because I was consistently connecting with other women, and then another thing that works very, very well for me is that when I get a client, I know how to take care of my clients. I take care of my clients, I take care of them so well that they always come back. And because the job that I do now, the kind of service I offer now is not the one that is consistent, right? It's project based. So sometimes they might not need my service again until another 3 to 4 years. But when they need my service, they always remember but more importantly, they are consistently promoting my service to their friends and all of that. So those are ways for you to. But before you do that, you want to make sure that your social media is saying who you are. So if you want to use social media, for instance, you want to make sure that you pay attention to your social media. Make sure your bio says what you do. You have your portfolio on there. You are active. You are not creating posts, right? For um you're not just creating posts targeting other VAs, you're creating posts for your ideal clients. So when they get to your page, it's a no-brainer. But the truth is, sometimes these days, when I see social media management ads, when I get to their Instagram page, I'm like, you yourself, you need to hire a social media manager. I'm not going to pay. So you have to make sure that when your clients get to your page, they're secure in your ability to do what you say. Another person said, I'm about completing a course on virtual, but currently I don't have a laptop. Will it be easy to start my phone? It depends on what kind of service you're offering, but yes, it's easy to start on your phone. If you're doing social media management, yes, it will be hard, but you can absolutely do it on your phone. You have Canva on your phone, you have Meta Business on your phone, you have ChatGPT on your phone, and all of that. So, yes, absolutely. Will it be easy? Maybe not, but yes, it also depends on the service that you're offering. What is the average amount a VA should charge? Okay. Oh, okay. This would be determined by your skill set and what kind of service you're offering and your skill level. That's another thing. So you cannot want to charge premium fees for intermediate skills. You want to make sure that you're charging the right fees for your skill level. So if you're new beginner, you might want to take the lower range. But do your research. Social media management, maybe from $100 every month, you should be able to get for your lowest package, $100 every month, right up onto 250. That's for somebody who will say is that maybe intermediate, not beginners. Advanced people usually do. I've seen advanced people take 350 for social media management, but then it also depends on what they do. For admin is usually more versatile in the sense that you're probably charging based on the number of hours that they need you for. So even though you're not necessarily charging per hour, but your packages are like you need me for 10 hours or you need me for 10 tasks. So the list is different, is wild. For tech VAs, for instance, who maybe know how to set up Kajabi, asking price will probably be for like $400, $500 upwards. So, like I said, it depends on your skill set, your skill level, and the service that you're offering.
Ma'am, you mentioned in the session you've mentioned like tech VAs, social media managers, and a lot more fields under the same virtual assistant. So for a novice that is just starting up, what field would you advise or would you say is, so to say, the easiest to start from, then delving into other more complex fields?
Okay, so I would say the easiest per se is more or less what your skills are, what you are able to do. So a lot of people come in and
Recording in progress.
can literally pick they can learn tech very quickly. There's nothing that stops them from starting from fintech services. So it will be determined by your skill sets. Like I said at the point, what kind of skills do you have? I like to categorize virtual assistants into three categories. We have the admin VAs, and these are the people who offer admin services. You have the the admin people, those who manage regular admin stuff. You have the schedulers and all of that. Those people who schedule calls, schedule itineraries, and all of that. Then a few people who do research to follow that this category. Anything that has to do with the day-to-day running of any business, with regular admin stuff, they all fall under this category. And even the bookkeeping people too are under this category because it has to do with the running of the business. Then the other category is the marketing category, and I like to divide them into two: the creative marketers And these are people who are creatives, but their activities are towards marketing a business. So you have the graphic designers under this point, you have the copywriters, you have and all of that, the ad managers, no, the ad managers are here, the copywriters, anything that has to do with being creative, right? But towards marketing, they are under that subcategory. The other category are those who actually do the marketing stuff, like you have the email marketers, you have the social media managers, the ad managers, their own activities to promote, right? And then the third category are the tech VAs. Those ones are the ones that have to do with tech. That's creating automations, integrations, and all of that. So at the end of the day, what category you fall under will be determined by your skill set. So if you have an existing skill, for instance, marketing, setting up ads, or you know how to set up ads, or you've learned to set up ads, or you want to learn how to set up ads, then you will be categorized as a marketing VA. So at the end of the day, it's not about which one is easy. So easy for you in this category might not be easy for the other person. It's all dependent on what your skill set.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma.